What's going on, everybody? Man, it's been a crazy couple of days, right? Meant to go live yesterday. I changed it up a little bit and everything my computer just kind of went crazy and here we are. What's up, Fozzie? What's up, Daniel? Nice to see you guys in here. So we are going to go over a few metrics in CoinGlass tonight. Is the Bitcoin top in? No, not by any means. The Bitcoin top is not in. Is Trump and Xi and China playing all kinds of crazy games? Absolutely. Did we just witness the largest transfer of wealth? Most likely. And the single biggest liquidation event in crypto at 20 billion on Friday. So we'll wait a couple seconds, see who else gets in here. And while we are doing that, let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right. So let's go to the daily. First of all, right here, if you guys can't see. So initially, this right here, this dotted line is our weekly trend line. So if we zoom out, boom. As you can see, we got top, right? And just recently, back here in July, we flipped that to support, right? We come down, we did lose it, we bounced, then we shot back above it, and we dropped down. It looked like we were going to lose it last week, but luckily the daily candle, Sunday's candle, shot up there, got us back above, right? Got us back above right here. And then we started off green for the week. If we go here to the daily, right here, you know what I mean? This is Sunday right here. We started off green. We even had a green Monday. And then China decided to wake up last night and try and take out five, not literally take out, but take out five U.S. companies in South Korea as retaliation. With that happening, whole market crashes. We wake up. I almost got liquidated on a couple coins, you know, wasn't running a stop loss, always run a stop loss. But then this morning, everything shifted. We get this tweet. So I put this out this morning. Let's go. Let's take a look at that real quick. So right here, what's that? 8 hours, yeah. Boom. So China tried to shake us out. The market ate it up. Nice try, China. How it started, how it's going. So this is what we woke up to. So this is when the market opened, essentially. You know, about 22 minutes after the market opened, everything in the red, right? Well, fast forward 2 hours later, boom, we're starting to come back. And then, this is the market open for Bitcoin right here and where we were at the time of the screenshot. But then turned it all around and boom, another hour after that, Dow's up 150 points. S&P's pretty much flat. NASDAQ still down a little bit, but Russell K's up. And the VIX, now it's at 6% here, but it was at like 17%, right? So the volatility, they started knocking volatility out. What was it? It was at, right? Well, 9% in that one. And 17%. Yeah, 17% right here in the morning. And if you guys don't know what the VIX is the volatility index. It's what traders use. It is similar to, but not exactly like the fear and greed index for crypto. So you can see we turned it around. You know, this came out on CNBC. Trump trade rep says new 100% tariff on China depends on Beijing's next move. Well, then I don't have it in here. It just happened a little bit ago. China did something else with they just lifted the tariffs on Canada for like canola oil because apparently Trump, or apparently they were like disregarding our soybean oil or something like that. I didn't have a chance to really look into it, but Trump said that he may just cut them off from all of our soybeans and all that stuff like that. So the war continues between Trump and Xi, but I mean, it should not affect crypto. Powell came out today. Powell was talking about first, it was for some award or something like that with a bunch of economic nerds, right? And but he did say that, you know, within the next couple of months, we should see an end to quantitative tightening. That's bullish. Is he just talking out his butt because he wants to save his job? I think that ship has sailed. But either way, it was a high note. You know, it was very dovish. So, I mean, everybody's expecting another rate cut here. What is it? On the 29th of October is the next FOMC. So 2 weeks from tomorrow. Everybody's expecting at least 25%. There are some Fed chairs or some Feds, chairmen that are calling for 50 points. If we get 50 points, the market could just go freaking crazy. But all right, all that being said, let's get into it. Let's get into the market update. Let's go over some metrics on CoinGlass. Let's take a look at a couple coins and then maybe get into some TA. All right. So here we go. Let's get the freshest data here. Boom. We got the market cap coming in at 3.947 trillion, down 2.2% on the day. 271 billion in volume. You can tell we are in some kind of bull market with all this volume dominance. Bitcoin at 57.1, Ethereum at 12.6, Gwei 0.145 to send an ETH transaction. Let's go down here. We got Bitcoin coming in at 113,024, down 1.9% on the day, but it was much worse this morning. Ethereum at 41.28, down 2.6. BNB at 12.12, down 6.7. XRP at 251, down 3.8. Solana at 202, down 2.7. Doge at 2047, down 4.4%. We got Tron rounding out the top 10 at 31.7, down 1.8, with Cardano at 69.83, down 4.4. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. SWI is falling all the way to 22nd. Still coming in at 282, down 5.4%. So let's take a look at the biggest gainers. I have a feeling it's going to be Co-AI. Yes, this thing has just been ridiculous. The market's pumping yesterday. Co-AI is dumping. The market's dumping overnight. Co-AI shooting up. I was able to ride a little bit of the roller coaster of Co-AI this morning. So that was always fun, but up 64%. Look at that. 206% on the 7-day. It just don't give a, you know. We got Aster coming in at 150, up 3.3. BitTensor Aster actually was one of the coins I was in last night. I was in at about $1.48. I was like, nah, we're good, right? I'm only at 7x, right? Nah, wake up, 90% down. Whew, it flipped. It came back up. I think once it got back to $1.49, I just got out of it. I was like, I can't deal with the stress. So I just got out of the trade and made a couple bucks. But here we are coming in at $1.50. BitTensor Tau coming in at 454, up 2.9. Tau did just break out of a channel that it's been in for months and has just broke out. So we'll take a look at that. Provenance Blockchain up 2%. Gold up 1.1%. Pax Gold up 1%. So let's look at the biggest losers. Athena Athena down 8%, Hyperliquid down 7, Hype, Stake Type down 7, Pengu down 7, BNB down 6.7. Obviously, Wrap BNB is going to be down the same. Flare down 6.6, Render down 6.5, and a lot of red. But it ain't that bad. I mean, we don't even have any double-digit losses. We do have losses, obviously, but there ain't no double-digit losses. So that's good. It's not like the other day when, you know, Bitcoin dropped 5% and the rest of the market dropped 80, you know, which is an anomaly. That is a Binance thing. On top of that, so Binance gave back 283 million to a lot of its traders. I seen a post earlier that Binance is actually going to give back another 400 million, I think, to certain traders. So that is definitely good. Let's take a look at the pre-market. All right. Pre-market's pretty much flat. The Dow, S&P, you know, NASDAQ, everything's pretty much flat, you know, a little unchanged. So Trump threatens China with cooking oil embargo over soybean snub. So yeah, they snubbed us on some kind of soybean, whatever, who knows. An inflation pattern over time. Okay. And then here, Powell suggests tightening programs could end soon, opens door to rate cuts. I tried listening to it, but it was just like any other Powell speech. It was just long, droning, and really no substance whatsoever. So let's see if China's posted anything yet, or Asia. No, just the Australian index. Australia's up though. Oh, excuse me. Australia, the Australian index is up almost 1%. So that is good. What's this? China chip maker Wingtech plunges 10% after Dutch government takes control. Subsidiary Nexperia. I don't know what those are, but all right. So let's get into a little bit of metrics. Let's get a refresh on this. Whoa, what happened there? There we go. Let's get a refresh on this. See if it switched. So we got the fear and greed coming in at 39. That is bullish. Buy when everybody is fearful. Sell when everybody is greedy. Hey, Third Patriot, what's going on? Nice to see you made it here. I sent you a DM, Third Patriot. I don't know if you check your DMs on Discord, but I did send you a DM. So we got the fear and greed coming in at 39. And let's see, Bitcoin liquidations. Once again, let's get the freshest data. Boom. So in the past hour, negligible. So 24 hours, it looks like we're coming in. Damn, excuse me. About 700 million wrecked in the past 24 hours. Most of those being longs. But you can see in the past 12 hours, the tides have shifted a little bit. So in the past 12, shorts are getting wrecked. And in the past 4, shorts are getting wrecked. So the tide has shifted. I imagine all these longs were liquidations overnight when the whole market dumped. So, you know, people like me that left their longs open overnight, but was running super high leverage or something like that. Those are probably why this number is so big. But you can see that mostly it's shorts getting wrecked in the more immediate past. So, all right, let's take a look. Max Pain. So Max Pain for this Friday, sitting at about 118. Not good, you know, not bad. You know, we'll take 118 now, right? You know, we're only at 113. We'll take 118, right? So it would be nice to see us get back to at least 118. But it's crazy. The Max Pain on Binance is so flat, so weird. And it's not until 327. This is March. So this is the end of Q1. So The max pain at the end of Q1 2026 is 190,000. So, do they know something we don't know? Is this going to be just a slow slog and sideways action into the beginning of the year? And then at the start, say January, say Q1, I don't know exactly when the new Fed chair gets sworn in, but say the new Fed chair gets appointed and everything, 2026. And then they're expecting an explosion in Q1. And then if you see right here, Q2, they're saying it's coming down to freaking 125,000. And then Q3 of next year down to 95,000. I mean, now this slump, that coincides with the 4-year cycle. Say we hit 109 and then we come back down and we're at about a 50% drawdown over the next 6 months. But this curve should be back here somewhere. This curve should start back here and like freaking, what is this? 1031, like at the end of October is where this curve should start. You know what I mean? We should see, kind of pump and then roll back down. So I'm not too sure what's going on. That's the big money. So it leads me into my next thing, with all this volatility, with everything that's going on, right? Is that what's happening? Is this getting extended? You know what I mean? Because there's no signs showing that we've topped out. None. And these next freaking metrics we're going to look at is exactly that. First, we're going to check out the pi cycle top indicator. So the pi cycle top indicator, for some of you who don't know, it's like the 111 crossing over the 350 daily moving average times 2, whatever that freaking means. I don't know. But essentially it works out to a ratio that's close to pi when you reach down here. It's actually 3153. So it's not, pi is 31427, blah, 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 blah. But when we look at this, so let's scale this back a little bit. And, and now this goes all the way back to the beginning of freaking Bitcoin. Well, almost August of 2010. And as we're going through this, as we are pushing through this, right, we're seeing, boom, we get across here, May of 2011, the top hits right about there. And then it crosses back. So the red is the 111, by the way. It's when the 111 crosses above the 350. Okay. So, but as we go through, we're coming through. So right here we are, boom, we're in April of 2013, top, right? We come, it crosses back across, crosses again. Where's this? December of 2013, boom, top, right? So let's keep going. Okay, now this brings us in right here to December of 2017. Let's get that a little bit. There we go. So, and as you can see, boom, right there, we get the crosses up. Boom, that's the top, 2017. Boom, crosses back down. Okay, moving forward. Now we're into 2021. You can see we barely get the little, it's like a little baby cross, right? It's hard to tell. Let me zoom in, see if this will zoom in even more. So if you can see it, like just barely kisses the 350, goes above it, and then comes back down. But this is going to be April of 2021. So boom, top, right? And then when we work this way forward, we have the second top in November, even though, so technically, even though this price was higher by about $5,000, the inflation between April and November of 2021, remember, inflation was going freaking crazy. COVID, everything, quantitative easing, supply shock, all that stuff. Inflation was going crazy. So I bet if we adjusted this for inflation, the 61,571 over here and the 67,541 or whatever it is over here, I bet these would be relatively flat, even though they are almost, it's only a separation of like $6,000, right? So that's, 10%. We could say that that's probably just a double top, which was indicated back here in April during the regular top. So now we move forward and we're just chugging along, right? We're just chugging along, 2021. Here we are, 2023. Big separation, right? Big separation. Keep going. Big separation. And we get to today. And right here we are, October 11th, 2025. And they are not even freaking close. So it's not even the 111 is not even close to be popping over that. I mean, you figure right here. So we got the 111 sitting at 114,000, and we got the 350 DMA times 2 sitting at 200,000. So I'm assuming that means the 350 daily moving average times 2. So if we divide that by 2, the 350 daily moving average is about 100,500, something like that, right? So yeah, and we are not even close. It is almost 2 to 1 for this to be flipping that. And if we go back through it, you can see we've gotten a lot closer, like, 65 to 120 right here. So this is back in June. 65 to 84. This is super close right here. But we never touch, and we're actually further apart now. If you think about it, we are further apart now in 2025 of 114 to 2001. What's that? That's an 84,000 spread. That's I don't even know, what is that? More than freaking I don't know. I don't even know what that ratio is. That's probably 60%. No, about 55%, 57% of the total. So 114 is about 57% of 200,000. When we come back here, December of 24, 80 of 133 is a lot closer. So we are still far off on the Peel multiple. So this kind of, or the pi cycle top, my bad. So this kind of also could mean that we're pushing further in, like maybe Q1 of next year is the top, and it's not Q4 of this year, right? But then we go to the MVRV score. The MVRV score is like your realized market. It's like the circulating market value. So here, I'll just read it. The MVRVZ score is a relative indicator, which is the circulating market value of Bitcoin minus the realized market value, and then standardized by the standard of the circulating market value. The formula is blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of words just to tell you that when green, the MVRV, and orange, the Bitcoin price, are like in sync. So you can see MVRV spikes. That's the top of Bitcoin right there. MVRV spikes, that's the top right here in 2019 for Bitcoin. MVRV spikes, boom, this is the top back in March 2021. The run up also right here, MVRV spikes, and boom, that is the top in 2021. And then we just keep moving forward, right? So we get a little spike here. We get a little spike here. Boom, that's the local top. That's March 2024, that big run up that we had in March 2024. And then right here, this is probably December. What is this? So November 2024, we get a little spike, right? But look, look at where it's at right now. There is no spike in price. It is definitely lower. Here, scroll in a little bit. There we go. So you can see, as it moves across, boom, spike, top, spike, top. And unless you want to call this little spike, which is actually lower than everything else, a top, and is actually lower than November of last year, which is actually lower than March of last year. I don't think we're anywhere near the top. I think we have plenty of ways to go. So there you go. That is my 2 cents. Also want to give an honorable mention to Crawju. Crawju is recovering very quickly. And when we look up here, let's go ahead and this is versus the US dollar. Crawju has just broken the 200 MA on the 4 hour. We got the 21 following tightly coming back up. I would expect to see a nice little pump as we're crossing the 4 hour, have the 21 come up, get a test. If we're lucky, we'll see something like this. Boom, 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 boom. We'll see the 21 come up, watch it kiss that, and then price action to Valhalla, right? All right. Maybe not that high, but that would be nice to see. And then let's get rid of that. When we swap this over, and that's versus USD, right? I know a lot of you guys like to trade versus the ADA pair. So let's go up here. Let's switch this to ADA. And with the ADA pair is actually a more significant pump. So boom, we try to hit the 200. We try to hit the 200. Boom, we finally get it. Pump. We got the 21 coming in. RSI is a little high, Stokes are a little high. So we could see something like this, and it'll probably, now the drop of this could come one of 2 ways. So the drop could come from Crawju actually losing, going down in value, or it could come from ADA going up in value because it's a pair. So, but either way, kind of the same thing with the USD pair. We might see a little coming back a little bit like that as the 21 comes up. Remember, the 21's a magnet. When we blow past the 21, we always want to come back to it. Right here, look. Blow past the 21, come back to it. Boom, boom, boom. Drop down below it, come up to it, blow past it, come back down to it, get away from it again. So we could see, price action come down, meet the 21, and then take off. And that would actually give time for the RSI to come back down a little bit. The Stokes come down, get a little healthy retest, but definitely like Crawju, it has, once again, damn it. Crawju has definitely recovered faster than SNEC. You can see the big dump here. SNEC was barely above. And granted, it's a smaller market cap, but SNEC is actually listed on exchanges, right? So, SNEC is on MEXC, Kraken, whatever other exchanges it's on. SNEC has actually been on MEXC for more than a year. I bought SNEC on MEXC well over a year ago. So, everybody was all happy that it got listed on Kraken and this and that, but it was already on MEXC. No lower, just higher. Yes, sir. No lower, just higher. All right. So when we come over here to look at SNEC, I mean, it was up here and it was struggling to stay above the 400 back here in October or on the 1st or 2nd. And it actually lost on the 7th well before this correction that we had on Friday. So, we had already lost the 400. The 21 had already flipped it, and then that correction just demolished it. And here we are on the 4-hour. RSI is pointed down. It is below the 50 mark, which is the bearish territory. Above it is going to be bullish. Your Stokes have crossed over going down. So I actually kind of expect to see, and this is versus the dollar. So I do expect to see SNEC lose a little bit more money versus the dollar in the coming future. Let's see versus ADA though. So now when we flip the script and go to ADA, a little bit of a different story. So versus ADA, you can see we retook the 200, boom, bounced, and now we're retesting the 200, but the Stokes are reset. You do have RSI's below the 50 line, but it looks like it's getting starting to maybe get a little tail there. Maybe it'll flip up like a snack. And but you can see if it loses this 4-hour though, if SNEC loses this 4-hour right here, I do expect to see it, come back down. That means either ADA is just out pumping, is out gaining it, or that people are just getting rid of SNEC and getting into some other stuff. So one more super degen play. Don't even know what it is. Don't even have any idea what it is. It's extremely cryptic. There's only like 3 posts on Twitter. I bought in just a little bit. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. I bought in just a little bit just because, hey, why not, right? And that's prep or perp. So we don't know if it's going to be a perpetual exchange. I mean, they were talking about growing a baby in a jar or something like that earlier. I don't know. I think I reposted it. Let's see here. Where is, yeah, right here. Status log 02, critical update, growth rate accelerating beyond control, form human-ish. Vital, stable yet unnaturally calm, observation piece in its lumber. So it does seem to be a Twitter account, not an older Twitter account, but from January of this year that's been scrubbed and repurposed because there's only 3 posts and it's been out from 2025 and it has 410 followers. So, and it's following 185. Granted, this could have all came in the past couple days, because their first post, according to this, was on the 13th, which was yesterday. So, like I said, highly speculative. You probably lose all your money if you buy into this, but hell, what's 20, 30 ADA, amongst friends? So you never know. All right, that is it. If let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I do have a little bit of time. If anybody wants me to look at anything, go ahead, give me a shout in the chat. Let's take a look at Cardano. Big red candle. I mean, that's pretty much every candle for today was red. Big red candle, but the new candle is starting red. We are at a nice, little freaking SR level right here. So we are at a support level. We got lots of action coming through here. We're just below. So on the daily, when we zoom out on the daily and get some more data on here, the POC is actually sitting at 74 cents. you know, and just like the 21 is a magnet, the POC is a magnet. So, you know, you break above it, usually come back down to it. You break below it, usually come back to it. So, and that just happens to be the 200-day moving average. And we definitely need to break back above that 200 on Cardano to keep going. Oh, what do you got there? Dude? Dud? I don't know how to say that. I imagine you got to say it dude, right? Because it's doodles. All right, let's bring up deck screener. Take a look at Doodle. So Doodle NFT project coming out with a coin just like Pengu. God, what is this? October 6th. What the hell was that? Man. Let's zoom out though. All right. I mean, yeah, we got a big ass cup and handle right there, maybe. I hate it with so with freaking with deck screener, you have to set up your damn every time you look at a new coin for whatever reason. Oh, it might be because I don't think I'm signed in either. And those are the only 5 indicators you actually need, folks. And we are going to switch the inputs. So you want the 200 moving average. I usually put that in yellow. So then it's the same on all my charts. You want the 21 moving average. And these are simple moving averages. I put that in white. And I mean, you could throw the 50 up there also, which is a pretty good moving average. The 50 across the 200 is a pretty good moving average also. Then you want your visible range volume profile. And first of all, go over here to row size, add a 0. Just because what that does is you can see it gives you more data points right there instead of them big blocks. I personally like to place mine on the left so it doesn't interfere with price action over here. You can extend the width of the boxes. I just leave it at 30. Boom. Okay. And now we are all set up. And then, of course, we got our standard RSI. And we have our Stokes. And first thing on the daily, Stokes have been reset. That is bullish. We do have a red candle on the daily. Your point of control on the daily is actually way down here at about 41 tenths of a penny or 41 hundredths of a penny. No, 41 tenths of a penny down here. But let's break it down because there is not enough day. Big dogs come into play. It's quite possible. I mean, it was definitely a whale that bought, right? Definitely a whale right here. You know, boom. Man, damn, look at that spike. That is a freaking, I mean, we're only sitting at $62 million market cap also. So it doesn't take much to push that. I can't even, there we go. That's 173% candle from wick to wick. Actually, even a little more than that because I left out a little bit down here. So it's probably 180, 190% candle wick to wick. That's funny. All right. So let's, looking at the 4-hour, you can see, boom, right about here. So October 9th, this is going to be our drop off. This is going to be the liquidation. Boom, 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 boom. Tried to get a recovery. Couldn't. This is going to be today's or overnight's, right? Last night's. Boom, 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 boom. And then now we're into today, and it's trying to make some kind of recovery. So it is still above the 21. I mean, that's bullish. Well above the 200, bullish. Stokes actually look like they're getting ready to flip negative again, so they might come back down a little bit, but not looking too bad. I mean, it doesn't really look, your RSIs are down here in the bear territory. I don't see any divs or anything like that. Let's see here. Let's go down a little further. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Stokes on the 1 hour, a little overextended. We have lost the 200. And the RSI is just kind of petering along right on the 50, right across the 50 right here. If it's a coin that you believe in, I could see picking some up. I mean, we're right down here. We're way down on the lows. What's this right here? A lot of action down here. The major point of control is down at about 0.4. It's sitting at that 0.04. It's sitting at 0.08. So if it's something you believe in, I could see picking some up. But I do believe that it could be a while before we get a massive recovery on it. Let's see here. Yeah, we have a lot of time frames to work through. So we lost the 200 on the 15-minute, which means we got to work through okay, so it did regain on the 5-minute. 1 minute is just lost it on the 1 minute. So if it just lost it on the 1 minute, so these 200s, you guys hear me talk about the 200 and 21 all the time. I am a firm believer, and now I did not come up with this. This is from years of watching like Crypto Lifer and stuff. He has a big 200 MA strategy, but ever since I've implemented the 221 MA strategy, it is like the simplest strategy in trading, right? You break above the 200, you long with the stop on the other side. Boom. You break below the 200, you short with a stop on the other side. Boom. 80% of the time, your money. 80%. And it doesn't matter what freaking time frame you're on. We just seen earlier when we looked at Crawju, boom, 4 hour blast through it, right? Right here, we lose the 200 right here. What happens? It falls off. We gain it, it blasts through. So it's no different. It's going to be no different. Look at this right here. That's a 1 minute, but it's still the same thing. It doesn't matter time frame. 1 minute. We break, we attempt, we come back down, we finally break through, boom, off to the frickin' races, right? We lose it, we drop. So the 200 is your friend. And the most beautiful setup is something like this right here. This is the ideal setup right here. So you got the 21 tracking price, right? Boom, you break through the 200. You come back. So the 21 then breaks the 200. You come back, you retest that 21, and then you just ride that sucker all the way up. This right here, this break in the 200, and this is on the 1 minute. So granted, this is not going to be a very big pump, but you break that right there. Even on the 1 minute, that's a 4%. That took 122 bars. So that took less than, you could have got it back here. So that took less than 2 hours, 4%, 10x, that's 40%. You had $100. You traded $100 at 10%, took the trade, right? It moved 4%. You went up 40%. You made $40. You made $40 in less than 2 hours. You can't beat that, right? This one's even bigger. We come down here, and granted, these are the 1 minutes. So these, boom. What's that? That is a 9.38%. That took 110 minutes. So a little over an hour and a half, $100, 10x. You make $93. That's $46.50 an hour if it took 2 hours. You know, so and it's the same. You know, look at this. It doesn't matter. You know, here we are on the 4 hour for Cardano. Look at that. We lose the 200, dump city, right? We fucking struggle. We break through the 200. We pump, boom. We retest the 21. In this case, this is one of the cases where it didn't and it kept falling, right? You know, we tried, we got back above it. We tried, we got back above it. And then finally, as the 21 rounded, you know, we lost it and then dump city. And we lost the 200 well before the big crash, right? Because this is Friday right here. We lost it back here. So on, what is that? Tuesday, you know, and it was going down. And then, you know, what do I always say? Fundamental news is like the gas and the brake when it comes to crypto. If the market is bearish, which it already was, you know, we had been talking about back here. That we were gapped too far from the 21 on the daily, and we needed to see that come up, right? And then we got the red candle and then dump city. So we were already rolling over when that hit, and then boom, you know, if we were pumping in that hit, it just would have hit the brakes, slowed us up a little bit. We probably would have had a little bit of correction. But since the market was already weak and we got that news, it's like hitting the nitrous button, right? So, all right, that is all I got for tonight. My throat is still a little raw from this surgery. So 50 minutes of nonstop talking without John to banter with and pick up some of the slack is wearing on my throat. But that is it. Oh, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. I will be going live again tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. And you guys have a great night.